Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Let's do that again. I like it with the backdrop of the cafeteria here. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. So I gotta rethink a little bit about my art career. I had another stressful night last night, making zinc art. So this is now my favorite. Getting the colors right is the tricky part, right? You got to get the temperature right, and you got to get the amount of oxidation because you can't anodize zinc. So getting the temperature right on the first pour is the tricky part of it. Now you got to remember why I even started making art in the first place. Last winter, I was working at a tutoring center, and I had a situation that led me to going to the bathroom and crying in there. What had happened was I was hoping I was hoping a number of my students would take a break over the Christmas week so that I could take the week off. And my boss wouldn't talk to me for some reason. And so I went directly to the students to try and see what they were up to. I had a student who I thought she was going to take a break because she had extended family in Germany. And I, in the weeks leading up to the Christmas break, I talked to her extensively, and she was excited about seeing her uncle in Germany. And finally, they decided not to go on the trip. There was another round of COVID in Germany. They were concerned about that. And plus, her parents really liked my tutoring. And so they canceled the trip. And I so badly wanted them to go away. I mean, not because I disliked working with her, but I was burnt out. And I was like, gee, I thought you were excited about seeing your uncle, and when if you do end up going to Germany, take a trip to Gdansk Bay, Poland. I mean, they were in Frankfurt. That's a good train ride. But in my mind, I was so hell bent on getting them to go away that I forgot how far it was. And you know what? Her uncle means a lot to her, and she didn't want to give him COVID. And so there was another round of COVID going around in Germany at the time, so I had to accept that. Uh, and I went to the bathroom and I cried over that. I was so burnt out. Things were flying a million miles an hour, and I really liked working with her. I kind of miss her now that I've left the tutoring center. But at the time, I desperately needed to catch a gasping breath. That's how it was. I had a couple other encounters just like it would have been nice if my boss would have talked to me. He often just sent out the schedule. Oh, it's not in my control and all that. And yeah, I know the students are not in your control, but I'm sure we can make this work. He just flat out refused, almost like he was on autopilot. I mean, he's 70 years old. He's a baby boomer, and I don't know if that's how they operate. And I think the goal is to get so much turnover at the tutoring center that you're always getting people who are desperate for work, right? I really think that's the goal, like quiet hiring, quiet firing kind of situation. Because we had one I had one coworker who had been there 20 years, but the rest was turnover, and I'm not sure about the relationship between my coworker and the management, but it seemed like they had some kind of at least a long-term friendship, right? Maybe even a business relationship. Okay, but yesterday, as I was making my zinc art and I kept failing and remelting, I wanted to get stuff done because this Fourth of July weekend, I hope to do a little bit of traveling, and I hope to go to some consignment shops and drop my stuff off there. So I'm really trying to squeeze one last good batch, and so I kept messing up, and I cried. And I'm thinking, geez, 6 months later, I'm still doing the same stuff. It really makes me think what else I need to do besides just art, right? And part of it was probably finding some way to break through the communication barrier with my former boss. But you know what? The whole place seemed kind of toxic in the first place. Or maybe with the student from Germany, maybe I should have been a little bit more forthcoming. I know you like working with me. I'm sorry about your uncle's situation. I'm sorry about what's happening in Germany, but I really could use some time off. Can we reschedule a little bit? And maybe I could have done that. I was so concerned about offending my students. That's why I really like the art project, because now I'm not afraid of losing my students, but it also made me cry. So it really a tough situation all in all, right? Uh, anyway, that's why we need to hunt brothers of the metals market: bismuth, zinc, silver, and tellurium, and this July 18th, so that I can keep doing art and keep tutoring, but it'll be more like a fun thing to do rather than life or death, right? This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.